Welcome back. So in this video, I'm gonna be talking about one topic that has been really close to me, and I think this is a topic that many don't like. Many people don't talk about this, and I think it's one of the topics that really it's really difficult when you're in that period of your life when it comes to succeeding with e-commerce. And I think it's just general in any business, and it's the period when you're growing and you're doing some progress, and then eventually you're just learning and what is called learning and realizing that your old friends, the old life you had before, don't match the future life you're building. And this one was one of the most difficult for me, that part in my life when it comes to e-commerce and succeeding with it, especially in the beginning. And when I think this was 2 years ago or something, 3 years or maybe 2 years ago, when I realized that it's so lonely. And I think, of course, this was my fault as well, of course, that I didn't put myself out there. But I became so blind to this that I just kept chasing the hustle, working all the time, and just focusing on my business. And of course, that's necessary in the beginning. You have to do that, but it came to a point where it was just becoming too much, and I felt so lonely all the time. And this was for 2 years. Yeah, for 2 full years, I just spent most of the time by myself and my girlfriend, and I didn't have anyone close to me as a friend, like brotherhood or anything like that. And it just made made everything more difficult, because before that I used to have some friends who did the e-commerce stuff, but they stopped doing that, and then I was just left by myself. And I think this topic is something that most of you will go through, and most of you will go through that in the beginning, but also sometimes people go through it later in their journey in e-commerce. And this is really emotional even for me at this point, because it's so difficult to find people who are the same mindset as you. And especially I used to live in a small country, like small city in Sweden. It's named Skövde, and there, like, no one is doing anything. Like, if you go there now and then you go back in 2 years, you're gonna see the same people, the same routine, the same conversation. Everything is just the same. And if you live in that environment, that's gonna be really difficult to feel that anyone is matching your future self, and you're gonna be feeling so uncomfortable when you hang around with people who don't match or have the same vision as you for the future. And when you decide to spend more time alone, it's gonna have some consequences of not being able to share your thoughts. You will not be able to have the same kinds of like dreaming together. And I think that's something that is really important for me, is that to have friends with the same mission, the same goals, and the same journey in life, where you can just communicate and talk about the vision, the future life you want to build together, and the same goals you want to build, so you can have each other's backs, so you can always go through anything. And I think that's the biggest weakness when you're just alone. You don't have so many friends. Maybe you are alone a lot when you're just trying to make everything work. And the most difficult part of the journey is that you will just be left alone with your own thoughts, because you will not be able to talk about these things, the difficult phases of your business, especially when you've tried testing products for many months, even many years, but still nothing works. Then you're just left with doubts and not able to maybe feel as motivated as you felt before. And when you have someone close to you, maybe a brother or even a close friend or anyone that you can talk to, then you can go through these things way easier. And I think that was one of the biggest weaknesses for me back then, when I spent almost 2 years by myself. Of course, I had friends through the phone. I talked to many people that I met from YouTube, when I talked Swedish a lot in this channel before. I met many people from Sweden, and yeah, everything was great in that way. But I still miss that human connection in real life, when we can just hang around, maybe just sit and talk, eat dinner, or just something like that. So then eventually I just decided to change that, and decided to go to more e-commerce events in Dubai and travel more and just see more people, because before these 2 years that I spent alone most of the time, before that I used to travel a lot, and I used to meet many people, but then I was just stressed all the time about hustling, needing to work all the time 24/7, because my mindset from the beginning was stuck in me that I have to always be stuck by myself, working all the time, and I didn't have any time to meet people, communicate with me, like-minded people. And I think that's the biggest reason why I started this channel. It was 2 years ago, and I started with this channel in Swedish. And the biggest reason that I started this video was that I was just spending so much time alone that I needed to just share my thoughts, share my emotions to someone. So I just wanted to connect with more people, and my goal was to meet more people like you, and just have some people around me that I could just talk about dreams, goals, push each other beyond our comfort zones, and set some higher goals together that we can grow even beyond what we thought was possible before. And yeah, so right now that's the same mission for me right now. For myself, is to build a community that we can grow from each other. We can just minimize the part of this business, e-commerce business, the lonely part, because I don't believe that you need that lonely part in that same way that I thought before, that you need to just be isolated in a room alone, you don't do anything else. But if you find the right people, like me right now, I have my brother with me. We are doing everything together. We are doing the business stuff together. We are working out together. We are doing most of the things together, traveling together. And his mindset is also really like growing all the time. He started with this in July 2025, and he's still new in this. But the crazy part is that we've been hanging around each other so much that he's automatically almost at the same level in the mentality and the growth and ability to adapt to situations in the business. And I think that's the reason why I think it's so important to have the right people around you that motivate you and see the best version of you in yourself, that can keep you accountable so you can achieve the best version of yourself in the future. That's the reason why I think it's so important to find the right people in the beginning of your journey in e-commerce, so you can always just have your each other's back, so you can grow together, go through the hard times together, and just have someone to talk to. And I think this is something that most e-commerce people don't talk about enough. They just show the Lamborghinis, the watches, and the success, but the big part, I personally think that this is 80% of the things that people don't talk about, is the behind the scenes that no one is watching, because no one wants to show someone's weaknesses or anyone's struggles or anyone's, the tough times. And of course I understand they want to sell you courses, they want to sell you their coaching programs. And one great example is that a person in this e-commerce industry, I just texted him that, yeah, I just like his content. And then I just wanted to check if it's authentic, if it's really authentic, if it's human level, if I can find some kind of human connection with him, just as a friend. And I just asked him, like, what is your current weaknesses in life, in business? And the response was that he doesn't have any weaknesses. And for me, that was a big red flag. And I really think that every single one of you, even me, everyone has some kinds of weaknesses. And if you don't have any weaknesses, then I just think you're lying. And I think then you can't grow in any way then. So for me, I always want to be open with my weaknesses, the things I want to improve on, and the things I need to change in order to get to the next level in my business, and which is really changing right now, because before I used to just think that I know everything. I just thought that this life is great, I'm doing great. But the reality was that I was lying to myself. I was overspending privately in my business. I took out too much money from my business, and I was wasting just too much money from my profits in the business, which really took away the ability to invest into the further growth of the business. And back then I also thought the same thing, that I don't have any weaknesses, I'm doing great. But the reality was that my biggest weakness was the financial management that I'm currently working on a lot. So for me, if you can't find any weaknesses in yourself, I think you're lying. And I think if you just try to search inside of you a bit, then you can really find areas to grow on. And if you can't find anything to see that needs some change or growth, then I think you are not just honest to yourself enough. So my biggest weakness back then was, of course, the socializing and meeting the right people that I need in order to just have the emotional connection with people. And yeah, so once that changed, I invested more time and money into meeting more people, going to events, and then of course getting my brother into this as well. That's just changed everything. So this channel started as a way of me just trying to find more people with the same mindset in an authentic way. Most of the people in the e-commerce industry, they're not real. They don't really have that friend connection that I personally want in a person. And of course, everything is about social media. But for me, I want to really build this connection with you guys really authentically as my personal self, exactly the same way I am in front of the camera as I am outside of the camera. So in this way, I think I can just be myself and talk about the things that I've experienced myself in the business, and of course things outside of the business as well, because I think succeeding with e-commerce has so much to do with all the stuff around the business that is also happening, that yeah, I will share more of that in the future. If you feel that you don't have anyone to talk to when it comes to like you're trying to succeed with e-commerce, you're really deep in the trenches and you feel that you're alone, you're going through so many difficult situations in this journey, just reach out to me, man. I am really open to talking to you, just connecting and sharing some thoughts. And I'm also open to learning something from you, because I really believe that I can always learn something new from every single person out there. And I think this is gonna be something I really want to invest in to get this YouTube stuff going and really connect with you. And so we can maybe do in the future some live events, we can travel together and do some crazy stuff together, and we can really grow. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below, and see you in the next video. Bye.